Karen,
Hello, I'm good. How you doing?
doing all right. It's a good weather today, so it's a kind of bummer to be inside all day.
Good. Yeah.
But so you have been one of the core members since we started. You're actually the last team standing from the original four,
The
so that's
OGs.
pretty cool. Yeah. So I really appreciate you guys, stepping up and getting helping this league get started. So I really appreciate that.
Definitely. No, it's been good. It's different to what we're used to, which is why I think a lot of people like the league. So yeah, loving it.
That's good, man. Actually, I was going over your stats, and I just found out as of the last game, you're actually the all-time leading rebounder for Alpha at 392. So you're almost at
Let's
400.
go.
So back in the
It's not
states, when
like
we say
Andrew, I
someone's
think.
the leading rebounder, we call them the chairman of the boards.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, and
I
you're
don't do
also
much.
leading. Huh?
I don't do much but rebounds, so
Oh,
it's good to be
you,
recognized.
you play good D. You play good D too, man. You're also the
Sometimes.
leading in defensive rebounding as well. So that's pretty cool.
So I steal lots of rebounds off my teammates. That's what you're saying. Yes and
No, you just got an instinct for it. You got an instinct for it. That's how it is.
Cool.
All right. So let's start with you growing up and stuff. So tell me a little bit about yourself growing up, where you from and stuff like that, and your childhood and all that.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Wellington, and my father was born and raised in Wellington as well, Porirua ways, and my mother's from Gisborne.
Okay.
Well, about 45 minutes outside of Gisborne in this rural area called Wharatutu, where there's about 300 people. And yeah, so everyone knows everyone. And growing up, went to primary school at a place called St. Pat's Town in Kilburnie, just down the road from ASB, actually. There was about 90 kids. So
Really?
PC. Yeah, there's about 90 kids at that school. So it's a little tight-knit community. And then I went to Holy Cross for year 7, Ebis for year 8, and then St. Pat's Town, the mighty St. Pat's Town for my high school years. It's a little bit about me. I grew up not playing basketball to begin with. I was always a cricketer. And that was through my dad. My dad loved cricket, and my brother was pretty good at cricket as well. So I grew up always wanting to do what my older brother was doing. So that was playing cricket and rugby initially, and then as I got older and I started to watch my brother play basketball for St. Pat's and decided that, I want to do what my older brother's doing again, and decided I'd try to play basketball as well. I didn't grow up playing basketball, so it's not natural. It was definitely it was more of a learnt skill, if you will. Sort of later on in my years, I guess that's probably why the way I play is still quite raw, I guess. In a way, it's not as natural as what I see really highly skilled players. In the league, James from that Hut team, Elliot Stubbins, all those just real smooth with the basketball. So yeah, I try to rely on my sort of intensity and work ethic. That's probably why it's sort of reflected in defensive rebounds and more known as more of a defensive player than I am outside of that. But yeah, it's a little bit of a background on my high school and how I got into basketball. But yeah, really late and cricketer growing up. So I don't know whether the hand-eye coordination from cricket that maybe reflects the basketball, or whether or not there's a link there. But yeah, not too sure.
Honestly, cricket's not a big thing in the States. I never even saw cricket until I came to New Zealand. I know it's big in England and India
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I don't know the rules. To me, it's just like a classier baseball.
Yeah, I don't think there's much cricket played in America for sure.
Well, like, how old were you when you actually got into basketball? Like,
Ooh. I was year 8 when I started watching my brother play for St. Pat's. And like I said, I never played basketball growing up, but I always wanted to do what my older brother was doing, and he started playing basketball and he started getting really good at basketball, and I used to go down and watch him at the gym. My dad never used to drop me off. He'd always make me walk. So I walked from our place in Miramar, and I walk under the subway tunnel. And it's about, I don't know, 12, 13. I used rain or shine every Friday night. It was like my brother's playing basketball, so I would go down and watch. So I always just go down and watch, and they had the music going. I think that's why I like basketball so much. It's the energy. The energy around basketball is so infectious, I guess. The music, the layup lines, just the whole event that comes with playing basketball. And I just fell in love with watching my brother and his teammates play basketball at sort of that age. But I never picked up a basketball until then. I remember at primary school and sort of intermediate, they play this thing called mini ball, and it's a tiny little basketball for little people. And I played a competition then, but I never really retained any of the skills or anything. So then moving into college, I always wanted to play basketball. It was sort of thing I wanted to do. And I remember my year 9 year, I tried for the junior A's, and I never played basketball. I always shot around here or there, but I never joined any teams or did any trainings with anyone. I just decided I'll try for the junior A's, and just based off, I don't know, visualization of what I could watch my brother and his teammates doing and see if I could put that into practice. And unfortunately, I didn't make the team, and I was gutted about that. But I remember there's a coach at the time. I won't say his name, but he said, "Is that Tiffany's little brother?" And then I just heard him like talking on the sidelines, and the guy said, "Yep." And he said, "Oh, he's not any good. He's no good at basketball." I didn't get selected for the B's or the C's. I was, they said I wasn't any good. So I stopped playing basketball. Year 9, I lost a little bit of confidence in myself, I guess. I was a bit scared of failure, I guess you could say. I was scared of being in that situation. I always cared about what people thought of me, and lots of people thought I sucked. So I just continued doing what I was good at, which was cricket. So I was in cricket junior A's, year 9, 10, and then played first 11, year 11. So I started playing cricket again. And it wasn't until I became mates with Petone. I became really close with Petone. Another friend, Quaid, Isaiah Liafa. I came real close with these people, and they were all playing junior A's. And it wasn't until I became close with them. We're playing basketball at lunchtime through year 9s and 10s, and through year 10, sorry. And I started to, get interested in it again and be a bit more confident. I learned how to shoot a basketball, although, not the prettiest jump shot in the world, but I learned how to shoot a basketball again. I just started to like basketball again. And all of a sudden, the people that, I was scared of what they thought about my basketball skills, it didn't really matter because they were my friends now. So I wasn't really scared of failure next time around. So, after year 9 and 10 passed, I started going to these morning trainings with Petone. And they were with Kenny McFadden at ASB Arena, and they were 6 o'clock in the morning. But he put a bit of confidence in me to keep showing up every week and keep working hard, and just installed a bit of work ethic, I guess, in in the way that you probably see me play now. Not extremely talented, but extremely intense, I guess is a good word.
Yeah.
Keep going every morning for almost religiously. It was just my thing. I'd get up, go to morning training, shower at ASB, walk to St. Pat's in Kilburnie, and that's what I did every day for, end of year 10, every day for year 11, 12, and even year 13. So for about 3.5 years, it's just what I did. It was just part of my routine. And in that time, I developed, better basketball skills over the years. And in year 11, I decided I'd trial for the senior Bs. I tried for the senior As and then tried for the senior Bs. Again, didn't make the senior Bs or the senior As in year 11. And then in year 12, again, I decided, I'd trial for senior As. And after sort of a year, I think they could see that, okay, he's developed a little bit. He's becoming a better prospect. And that's when I first met Francis Hernandez. And he was our senior Bs captain, and he was a crafty little point guard, and at the time, he had there. Yeah, no, he was real good. He was, I kid you not, he was probably about 20 points per game. He was leading the team. He was fishing. He was captain, and he was, again, a guy that I looked up to in terms of his work ethic and his game and just his ball skills and stuff like that. So it was great to play that year behind Francis. And then year 12, I tried senior As. I made senior As, and that's when George Liafa was the coach. Just a real tough coach, but probably one of the best coaches I've had as well. I guess in conclusion to how I got into basketball, it was really late on, and like I said, probably not the most talented player ever, but just sort of the way I play is just, I guess, on work ethic and hard work, and doing as much as I can to help my team win.
Year 13.
Yeah.
So you were a starter, because I remember I reffed a few of your games when you were in the.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And,
no. That's all right. I'll edit it.
You know what I'm like with the refs, but yeah, hopefully I was it too.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you didn't give me any trouble. I remember you didn't like some of the calls. I remember I warned you because you were getting in a little bit of an altercation with another center in the paint, and I said to myself, I got to stop this now. This is going to be a problem later on. Nice. And but you didn't give me any trouble. But I do remember refereeing you in the Premier League, and that's when you were a starter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I assume, what's that, like 2013 or 14 or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's because actually you're actually one of the older players that I remember in New Zealand. Whoever that coach was that didn't put you on the team made a mistake, I thought. But it's good that you had that support when you were young from Kenny, and then your coach at St. Pat's, and that's what's important.
I grew up watching the Lakers versus the Celtics. I can't remember which year it was, but I think it was the year after KG, Paul
2008, and then they
2000,
again, 2010. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I grew up watching those, and I actually loved Paul Pierce, just the way he played.
Oh, really? The truth.
Yeah, the truth. He was one of my favorite players to watch, just because he made the game look like it was being played in slow motion. And anyone that knows basketball knows that anyone that has played basketball knows that it's anything but a slow moving game. Like it's every time you get the ball, you got 20 seconds to move, whether or not you have plays, but it's really a high intensity game, a high intensity sport. And he just made the game seem so slow, like players played around his pace. And I don't know whether it was that because of his athleticism or just his skill, but he could always beat people off the dribble, even though he was never the quickest man. He had a tidy jump shot. I just love watching him playing. He was the I think, KG and Ray got a lot of it because they came and joined the Celtics, but I think he was always the centerpiece of that team. And I love watching him play. Kobe, obviously, just because he's just one of the greatest to ever do it, I think.
So you started watching basketball pretty late then, eh?
Really late.
Talking about. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm really late. Yeah, I'm really late into basketball. Although
A late bloomer.
A late bloomer, but I love watching old footage of people. Like you can obviously see how good Jordan was. Documentary.
What would you say is your biggest weakness as a basketball player? Because you already mentioned your strength as rebounding and defense, but what would you say is your biggest weakness?
Offensively, I struggle a lot offensively. I'd say dribbling. I'm not the greatest dribbler, sorry, but sometimes I have to bring the ball up just so other people on my team like Rocky and Ben don't have to do it all game. I bring the ball up, but then I'm not the greatest at initiating any sort of offense really. I'd say offensively I struggle quite a lot. I try, and I guess like I said, and I alluded to earlier, that it's not really talent. It's sort of just I learn through visualization of what I watch, and I watch a lot of NBA games. I watch a lot of a lot of players, and I just try those moves in a game.
Yeah,
it's nothing that I really learned growing up, or skills. I never really learned dribbling until I started the morning trainings with Kenny McFadden and that. So I think I got a good IQ of the game, just understanding through watching the game a lot. So I think that's where I can. That's why I still score a few points here and there, just because I know when to cut, or little things like that. How to get open. But I guess the struggle I have is actually making the shots. So getting myself in good positions, but then actually making the shots are different stories.
Well, man, having a high IQ in basketball is a big asset, because there are a lot of players who don't have a clue.
Yeah,
man. And you see even talented people can have the most talented person, but they won't have a clue. They don't have a feel for how to read things, and that's a big thing to have, and that's a big plus advantage that you got. I can see in Alpha as well.
Yeah.
Now you talked about Gunners.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them a little bit, because that's your team in Alpha at the moment.
This is my guys.
Talk about your first 2 seasons at Alpha with Gunners. I think besides Raw Dogs, you guys are probably the most decorated team in Alpha. Of course, you made 2 finals appearances in your first 2 seasons. You had the undefeated record.
I can't believe we lost that first one. I still.
Blazin had a good plan, man. But you guys had 2 finals appearances. You guys won 14 wins, 1 loss in those 2 seasons. You guys racked up 2 MVPs, and Ben winning the first season, Bronson winning the second.
I thought I was right in the first season.
You guys.
I let Ben know that as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Man. Well, because I had to hand out that award, man, after you guys lost.
Yeah.
And he didn't look happy. He was like, understandably, but it was like, it felt kind of bad, but you guys brought like the epitome of fast break basketball, and you guys, brought it to the teams and everything. What do you feel made you so successful in those first 2 seasons? So dominant.
I think because we had been together for, we'd been playing the midweek league for about 3 to 4 years together before we joined Alpha. So everyone knew who each other were. We played together for a long time. We had a definitive style that we'd been playing for a long time as well. So I think that that translated quite well. And I guess when you get to that sort of the social sort of level, and people don't train as much when you're 8, 9 deep, which is can be rare in social games. When you're 8, 9 deep, and you can just roll subs, and you can just play at such a high intensity for so long over the span of 40 minutes. I guess teams just they just fade out towards the third, start of fourth. If we just keep running, we keep that same pace for the whole 40 minutes. So I think that's why we're so successful in the first years. Fast break layups here and there, and I guess again the fitness levels, the intensity of the way the Gunners play was able to bring us a bit of success that season. Apart from the final, which again still gutted about, but I'd say the way we played really helped. You don't have to learn any plays. You could be anyone could just come into the team and run your lane, run hard, crash the balls, get back on defense, and that's just how we play. And anyone can buy into that system, and that's why I think we're so successful to begin with. And I guess it's not until teams that have similar fitness levels as us, but a little bit more skillful and have really good basketball IQ. So the likes of your Raw Dogs that have your Caleb Bardens and the Stevens brothers that played basketball their whole life, and they're able to make those changes on the fly, and they're able to adapt to the way we play, and they can match us, speed for speed. They can match our fitness levels. So again, it's when we get to those teams that we do struggle a bit, and I think you can see that in the results. But I do know that we're always very competitive when it comes to those teams, and we do give them a good run for their money.
Do you think that because after those first two seasons, your record has been basically 11-10, like a 500 team the last two seasons? Do you think it's just because? Do you think that's the main reason? Because of teams like the Raw Dogs, Pookie Slam actually got better before, in their last season where they had Isaac Milose, Jackson, and you have the Wolves, even though they're a little bit older than you guys, but they're a smart team. Do you feel that the talent level and just the way that they're able to adapt to you guys' transition, is that what you feel has really stopped you guys from being as successful?
Yeah, I remember when they first entered the league. I think we, like you said, we were quite dominant, 14-1. I think that one loss was in the final to Blazing, but we were quite dominant in that league. And then we always knew that better teams. We knew what the league was like, and we knew it was going to be attractive to lots of other teams. So we knew it was going to get bigger and more talented players were going to come along. But we really struggled to adapt to, again, that increase in talent. And I think that first season was a little bit tough when the better teams came along. I think we're still very competitive, but I think we were just slow to adapt to the better players around. But you got to think of there's some extremely talented players that in this league at the moment, in the way it is. I mean, Campbell from Raw Dogs, he is like a nightmare to play against, because if you get too close to him, he just blows by you. And if he wants to, he can dunk it on you if you want. Otherwise, if you give him too much space, he just shoots a three in your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think we really struggle with that side of it, like teams that have 4, 5, 6 weapons on the court at one time, whereas the leagues before that it was maybe 1 or 2, and we were able to nullify them a little bit or contain them. So I think it's more of we're struggling to contain teams for a longer period of time. We're good for quarters, or we're good for spells in games, but we're not able to translate that to the 40 minutes that a basketball is. And we just have key lapses of concentration where you can't have against these teams, especially with these types of players. I mean, you can't afford to have 5 minutes off against a team that has 3 of the Stevens brothers, and then you surround them with 4 shooters in their team. You can't take 5 minutes off. Otherwise, a close game where you're within 2-3 points, 2-3 quarters, all of a sudden you're behind 16, and you're just, well, what happened here? And where we got away with it in seasons 1 and 2, we're just not getting away with it anymore. And I think that's really it. And it's a mindset change, because we've had good players come through. We've had Sam Brays and we've definitely got really good offensively, talented players, and defensively. So we've had good players come through. We just struggle to, I guess, bring it all together as a team and sort that out and do it for 40 minutes rather than a quarter on, quarter off sort of a thing that we're doing currently.
Yeah. Well, do you feel? Because I think one of my theories for you guys is the last few seasons, like the first 2 seasons, you had consistency, you had that set team. But the last few seasons, it feels like you've had a rotating door of players. You brought in Hayden, but Bronson left. You brought in Sam, but Miko left.
Yeah.
And you're just having these new players come in and out. And I feel like the chemistry, the consistency, the gelling hasn't been there as it was before. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think Bronson and Meeks, they're the cornerstone to our team. I think Meeks gets us out of trouble a lot of times with just the ability to pull up from 30 plus feet anywhere on the court. So he helps us out a lot. And Bronson's just another player that I just think has incredible IQ and poise on the basketball court. He just levels us out a little bit. Again, 2 players that get us out of trouble offensively. They went missing, and again, you sort of take Hayden out. Oh, you take Bronson out. You bring Hayden in, who's a great defensive player and a big body, great rebounder. But then we lose that offensive piece. That is Bronson, that can stretch the floor, and shoot the three at a really high rate, and stretch the floor, which opens the game up for Rocky. And so those were 2 big additions I think we are missing. We are missing those people that stretch the floor, so it opens up the court for guys like Rocky that can be of influence, and guys like me that I'd prefer to be down low, working the post, being the scrapper, getting offensive rebounds. But even now I find myself shooting more threes than probably what I should be. But that, again, it's almost like we lost a few key players, and we're unable to get that consistency within our team. And we do really miss the likes of Meeks and Bronson.
The thing I noticed, I thought that those 2 really helped out was in bench depth. Because I thought usually Miko came off the bench, right, when Rocky and Ben were there. And then when Bronson was there, he could push Hugo to the bench. So therefore you had Miko and Hugo coming off the bench. And I feel that is right now probably your weakest point now is just the bench production, I feel, a little bit as well.
Yeah, that second year. I think we did talk about moving the lineup around. So bringing, people that are on the bench into the starting lineup, as well as, I think Hugo's on the bench sometimes. I think when Hayden plays, Hugo's on the bench, which is, it's good or bad because he should be starting because he's an extremely talented player. But then he gives us that aggressiveness off the bench that we're missing sometimes. I think towards the end of last season, I said, I'll go on the bench. And then, that way, I think me and Ben were going to go into the bench towards the end of last season. That way, it was more balanced. So, there was production on and off the, on the bench as well as on the court. So, it's stuff we've talked about. And, we're really missing that. Yeah, you're right, that the production off the bench is something that can let us down a little bit, but I don't know whether that comes down to the actual personnel or whether or not it comes down to the rotation of the players and making sure that, we always have, 2 or 3 offensive threats on the court at one given time while not, completely disregarding our defense at the same time.
Yeah, something you guys gotta figure out.
Yeah.
When we talk about this season, so currently you guys are 2 wins and 3. I see a smile on your face. You guys are 2 wins and 3 losses. You're tied for 6th place.
Yeah.
With Fall Never Lies and Threes with Fleece for that 6th, 7th, and 8th. You guys are jostling there. But you're only 1 game behind. That little next section of Roosters, Wolves, and 99 Problems. But the thing is, you don't have the tiebreakers right now. And your next two games, so the next game back when we resume against the young Porua team, the Flint Tropics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that should be I guess a pretty
They're a
high
good
scoring
team.
game. Or yeah. They've been
They got some
struggling a
good
little bit, and
players.
they've been injuries and stuff like that. But they run and they put pressure on you offensively, and the two brothers are really good.
They're a real good team. I was watching them play. Where are they coming?
What do you mean?
Where Flint? What's their record?
1 win, 4 losses. So they are 9th.
I'm surprised by that. Yeah, I think
they've had some injuries the last several weeks.
Right. Yeah, there's got to be. Yeah, because when I see their team and I look at their sort of roster, I'm like, that's a Matson. Matson's a
Dara.
Yeah, he's a real good player.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe injuries. So they're probably a sleeper if you're looking at this league.
Well, they're also young. I've seen them, and they're very talented. But when they go against more experienced teams, you can really see the inexperience showing up, and they make plays that they probably shouldn't be making. And I think they just need time. I assume they're quite young. I mean, I don't know how old they really are, but they look like 18 to 22, I guess, 18, 21.
So yeah, good team to watch out, and that just sort of shows you the depth of the league at the moment. I think how deep it goes. I wouldn't think any social team that Matson's on, as well as Taylor, as well, would ever be 1 and 4 in any Wellington league. So it really shows the depth that that Alpha's at the moment, which is good. Every game's competitive, and every game's real hard, and it's honestly I look forward to every Sunday because I know every Sunday is going to be it's going to be a battle for win. Yeah, it's going to be a real good game. So, and I look forward to watching the footage, whenever it comes out on the Tuesday as well, because it makes the league so attractive. So yeah, it's a tough league.
That's a big game for you guys, because if you lose that, then you guys are probably dropping down to a little bit lower in the standings, especially if but if you guys do win, then it allows you to keep pace and have that chance for a higher seed. But what do you got to do the next 2 weeks before the playoffs begin to get you guys in the right mindset for the playoffs? What do you feel?
We actually haven't. It's a good question. We haven't talked much during this lockdown. I don't think we've missed as much at all. I remember before this, and when we were playing basketball, we're quite active in the chat. Talking in our Facebook chat. That is. Talking about players in the upcoming games and how we can beat them and which players to look out for. So that's been really good. But maybe, a good starting point is, post this discussion, we spark the chat up again and start talking about, how we're going to play, what's everyone up to, maybe just checking in. Yeah, good question. Maybe just, start that now. Make sure people in the Gunners are starting to pick up the basketball again, because it might be a bit of a layoff, and so we don't go into the playoffs completely cold.
Have you been doing any exercises, any cardio?
I've been doing at home trainings. I've been trying to keep my fitness up with that, but it's all been like kettlebell work and not really basketball related. But I've been keeping my fitness up, watching my nutrition, making sure I'm not gaining too much weight. So
you weren't lining up at 4 a.m. for Macca's?
No. I saw the line on Wellington Live, and
that's ridiculous, eh?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Although I will be getting some takeaways on Friday. I just don't know. I will be getting maybe Burger Fuel. I'm thinking Burger Fuel. I've been craving some Burger Fuel for a long time.
What you got to do is get some mashed peas and kumara patty. What? There you go.
No way.
Got to keep it healthy, man. All right, man. Thank you for taking the time. It was a good chat, and
thanks for having me.
For you and your partner, especially your partner who works in the medical field. Hopefully, she's all good and everything like that. Stay safe and healthy. And hopefully, I'll see you soon in the next month.
4 weeks, hopefully. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Maybe.
Yeah, get to see how that conditioning is that you've been doing when you get back.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. I may have lied about it. No, kidding.
All right, man.
We'll see. All right, cool.
Thanks a lot. You take care, man.
Thank you.